Voila, le Ballon d'Or c'est complet. That's right, Ousmane Dembele won the Ballon d'Or yesterday. Other awards like the Yashin Trophy, the Copper Trophy, but I do want to speak about the main award, the Ballon d'Or. Of course, that Dembele won. I'm going to go through relatively briefly the top 30 and discuss with you what we think, how we feel about each respective player, maybe not spending too much time on some. Of course, the headlines leading up to the ceremony was, is it going to be Yamal? Is it going to be Ousmane? I personally thought Ousmane was a clear favourite. Obviously, people taking sides just because that's what happens in the Ballon d'Or. It's like the Messi, Ronaldo mentality. You always need to, pick a side. It was like Rodri versus, Vinicius the previous year. But I do think Ousmane's a worthy winner. We can sort of end on that. But we're going to start on 30 and go down. And yeah, I think it's going to be a little bit of fun. So thanks for joining me, guys. I do upload daily here on Football Yannick, and I'd be grateful for you to hop on, join me. Basically, you're welcome to subscribe if you want to. Right, starting with 30th. Yeah, so Michael Olise obviously had a really good time at Bayern Munich, moving over there. Settled in really, really well as a starter for France. To be fair, he won the Bundesliga as a good player there. I don't think anyone would necessarily think it's like an absolute travesty that he finished as low as 30th, but fair enough. Florian Wirtz, the fleetingly record signing in the Premier League, of course, only to be trumped by Alexander Isak. He was 29th in the Ballon d'Or ranking. Of course, Bayer Leverkusen didn't win the Bundesliga last campaign, but he's still been good for club and country, and yeah, he's in there. What can you say? Virgil van Dijk, 28th. I think, yeah, totally fair. Captain of the Premier League winners. Still performing at a high level. No issues with that. Declan Rice at 27th. Yeah, Declan Rice. Because Arsenal finished second, and he played very well. So yeah, fine. I wonder if he hadn't scored those 2 free kicks against Real Madrid in the Champions League, does he make the top 30? I'm not saying he should or shouldn't. I think he's an amazing player. I'm an England fan. But yeah, interesting. And in 26th place, scored a bunch of goals still, didn't win the Golden Boot in the Prem, didn't win the Premier League. It is Erling Haaland. That's tough, isn't it? Because he finished below Declan Rice. They didn't win any trophies, Man City. They just got top 4. Maybe, I don't know, I guess because he scores loads of goals for his country as well. I mean, yeah. By the way, I really recommend and urge you guys to leave your comments as we go here, because I'm just very keen to learn what people think, because you can make an argument he shouldn't be in the top 30, but then when you score a load of goals in the Prem, but then again when you're Erling Haaland for Man City and your job isn't to press or link up play, deep, then you do just score goals. Is that unfair? It feels maybe unfair. Denzel Dumfries, of course, Inter players will do well. I know they didn't win the Scudetto, that's just happened with Napoli, but they kept reaching, finals and just being very good and, representing Italy on the world stage. So fine, Denzel Dumfries, and of course, starter for the Netherlands. Right, we're getting into PSG territory now. Fabian Ruiz in 24th place, which kind of makes sense. The quad winners, the PSG team, so you'll see that. Jude Bellingham is 23rd. Yeah. I mean, they didn't win La Liga. They didn't win the Champions League. They got slapped up by Arsenal in the Champions League. They got slapped up by PSG in the Club World Cup. Dare I say, and because, Jude had the strongest season before, didn't he, when he was scoring all the goals, it's like the tip of a diamond in the midfield. But now since they got Mbappe, I'll argue, again, England fan, I'll argue, maybe Jude shouldn't be there. Alexis McAllister in 22nd place, Premier League winner, important midfielder for them, fine. Serge Guirassy In 21st place, of course, playing in the Bundesliga now for Dortmund, scoring a lot of goals. I think that's quite high. Of course, he had a great time with Stuttgart before moving to Dortmund. I don't know why other teams didn't look at Guirassy. He's such an obvious senior goal scorer for not much money. Fine, but it seems a little bit high. I mean, just above him in 20th place is Lautaro Martinez, which makes sense. Again, Inter performing well. Lautaro scoring lots of goals for Inter, playing really, really well. Fair enough, really. And back to PSG Tings, João Neves in 19th, which I think is a little bit tight. I think João Neves, or is it Neves, like Portuguese pronunciation or Brazilian Portuguese? I don't know. Well, he's Portuguese, not Brazilian, but you know, sometimes it's Neves, sometimes it's Neves. He is 19th. I think that's harsh. 18th place, Scott McTominay. I'm totally okay with this. In fact, he's the Scudetto winning MVP. So I think, actually, he should be higher. I think he should be top 15, maybe, Scott McTominay. I mean, that's only 3 places higher than 18th, but he won the MVP, he's won the Scudetto with Napoli. Is that only worth 18th, I suppose so. Robert Lewandowski, Barcelona's centre forward. Barcelona, of course, winning La Liga. In 17th place. He was injured quite a lot. The season before was better, I think. Not much else to say, really. Vinicius Jr. in 16th place after the drama of Real Madrid throwing the toys out of the pram because he didn't win the Ballon d'Or. They didn't turn up to the ceremony, and there was all kinds of like petulant behaviour from the Real Madrid institution, and he was sort of like, I'm going to go again, and he's gone from 2nd to 16th. I mean, it's still top 20, and he'll argue it's just not, he needs to go again and have a better season at some point and get back in the reckoning. But I think he's going to be tough. I mean, maybe not, because Usman, who's won it, is like, 28, so I just don't think Dembele is going to have a season like he's had again, which kind of guaranteed the win. But yeah, Vinny Jr. is going to be worrying about some young players that are coming up into the arena, essentially. They're about Ballon d'Or contenders. 15th place, Victor Gyökeres. I think he scored the most goals in Europe. Of course, he doesn't play in a top 5 league. And also, most of his goals are in the bottom half, like the vast majority of his goals in the Portuguese league or against teams in the bottom half of the league, in a league that's not top 5. But he still scored the goals, and he still scores a few for his country. I think just because of the sheer volume, and of course now he was courted by Arsenal and United. Kind of fine, I think. I don't think Victor Gyökeres will... I don't know, it's very interesting. 15th, fair enough, because I think that's probably the sweet spot, because he was talked about so much, and the players above him, you sort of understand. All right, back to PSG, Désiré Doué, the young teenage winger sensation. Yeah, people wouldn't have been surprised if he was a top 10er, but yeah, again, 14th is 4 places different, it's not the craziest. Now, Harold Kane might feel a little bit disappointed that he is in 13th place, Bundesliga winner, scores pretty much every single game he puts on an England shirt. Unlike Haaland, he can play as a number 10, a playmaker, and sort of quarterback role, can't he, Harry Kane? So I think, yeah, he might feel a little bit hard done, but did they win the Pokal? I think they might have. I don't know if he's won just the league. Still, it seems a little bit tight. Now, we're starting to get into the territory of some, because Kvichva Kvaratskhelia is 12th. And he felt like possibly like a top 7, 6. But so he, again, you're like sort of clutching at straws. Like they're all pretty close to each other. But a lot of people would have thought Kvaradona, who by the way was busy on the night losing Le Classique away in Marseille 1-0. So bad night for PSG there. But not so much, of course, in Paris in the ceremony. Yeah, 12th place for Kvara. That seems a bit, because he was so good. But yeah, Pedri is 11th. Now, this is tough because 11th is very, very strong for a non-goal scorer. But because both PSG's fullbacks are in above him, one of them as high as 6th, spoiler, that's what I think is a little bit wrong here. Because they are amazing, the fullbacks. But I don't know, someone like Pedro is so important to Barcelona's midfield. Maybe it's a bit of a hipster thing, like, he's underrated, but he was so good. I think he should be in top 10. So yes, Nuno Mendes is 10th place. The left back for PSG. He was really good. He got roasted in the Club World Cup final though by Chelsea. And then Gigi Donnarumma. Of course, these recurring themes of PSG players. They won the quadruple. Didn't win the Club World Cup though. Donnarumma, some big performances. Got outshone by Rob Sanchez in the final Club World Cup. A player that I'm not overly happy with at the moment for obvious reasons. So Gianluigi Donnarumma getting 9th, and then Cole Palmer in 8th place, which caused a little bit of stir from rival fans of Chelsea. But he is, like, despite going off the boil for a while, if you look at his goals and assists in the Premier League, they're very high still. He put in a man of the match performance in 2 international finals. Of course, the Conference League, which you still have to be a finalist in Real Betis. He won, man of the match in the final. And of course, in the Club World Cup, he was amazing. He tore apart the champions of Europe, PSG, 2 goals and an assist, and he won man of the match, player of the tournament, won the trophy. So a lot of high-profile performances, especially in the Club World Cup final, leading up to it. It was Bill versus Usman versus, Cole Palmer, the eventual Ballon d'Or winner, and Chelsea's Cole Palmer. And on the night, it was just Cole Palmer. It was his complete Palmer show. And I think there's recognition that he's just put in amazing performances. But rival fans don't like the fact that he is top 8, but there we go. He's there. It is because of the Club World Cup. If it was just like, Chelsea had a good season, he finished top 4 when you only needed top 5, he got a bunch of goals and assists, he put in a man of the match performance in a European final in the Conference League, he might have been like where Wirtz is 29th or something, or like 20, between 25 and 30. But the Club World Cup, that high profile final, I think that skyrocketed him up the rankings. 7th place, Kylian Mbappe. Real Madrid, of course. He kind of had like an amazing individual season at Real Madrid in what was an underwhelming season for them. Scored loads of goals, despite a very shaky start. Took him a while to get going, but he's just undeniable. Mbappe, he hasn't won a Ballon d'Or. He is, he will be seeing his international teammate Ousmane Dembele, and of course his ex-PSG teammate win this, and I think they're a similar age. Kylian might be a year or so under, and Kylian will be thinking, right, now it's my time, I've got to get a couple in, basically. I was a kid playing at a high level when Ronaldo and Messi were still winning at loads. They bubbled down, and when the Rodris and the Ousmane start coming in, I need to have my time, basically. We'll see what happens with Xabi Alonso's Real Madrid, but he'll definitely be one of the favourites to continue this goal-scoring form, winning trophies with Los Blancos and basically getting Ballon d'Ors. Now, Achraf Hakimi at 6th. He's amazing, yeah? He's an amazing goal-scoring right back who's really radically offensive. He's really fun. And I think, to have both of them in the top 10, to both the fullbacks in the top 10, I don't know, freaking the kid, João Neves, I'd swap him to 6th. From 19th to 6th and 6th to 19th. I don't know. I think they've been really important, the fullbacks, but the front three and the midfield has been incredible for PSG, and I don't know. It's utter woke nonsense giving 6 to a right. Maybe that's unfair, because as soon as Reece James gets up there, I'll be like, stick him in! So he's got 6th place, Hakimi. Rafinha in 5th place, which is fine. A lot of people are annoyed he didn't get 3rd, or even some people 2nd when they talk about Lamin's numbers. But a top 5, if you said Rafinha to Barca fans or Rafinha fans, he doesn't win it, but he finishes top 5, they're probably like, yeah, okay. That's what I imagine. He's obviously amazing numbers. Remember, Barcelona was desperate to get in Nico Williams to replicate the wings for the Spain national team of Yamal and Williams. But he was like, what are you doing? I'm still really good. I'm only 28, and just exploded and had an amazing season. So Mo Salah comes in at fourth. Loads of goals, loads of assists, Premier League winner. Yes, Mo Salah is an amazing finisher of moves. What can I say? He's one of those players that will always look good. He will always look good on paper and always look good in your FPL team, because there might be times where he just, is completely out of the game, but then just scores a winner. And that's why I always make the comparison of why I prefer players like Eden Hazard, who's in the centre of the pitch, playmaking constantly. Maybe he doesn't finish the moves, but makes the moves and is constantly moving the state of play around. Salah won't do that, but Salah will conserve energy and ultimately come up with decisive production, which is worth its weight in gold. And yeah, I'd say I'd have no issue with putting Mo Salah fourth, to be honest. I think he's had... Some people might be angry he's above Rafinha or whatever, but I think Salah's just got undeniable productivity at this point. And then top three, now Vitinha. So in the same way I think Pedri's undervalued, I think Pedri's a little bit underrated at 11th. I think Vitinha is rightly rated in the top 5, whether he should be third or whatever. To be honest, Vitinha, Salah, Rafinha, you could mix those around whichever way you want, in my opinion. To be honest, I think we'll get on to Lamine Yamal, but I think he was a little bit not overrated, because he's going to be the best player in the world for the next 15 years. But I think comparatively, I think the story got too wrapped up in his age. Maybe certain other players could have had a shout for second. So Vitinha's third, amazing. It's crazy to think he was on loan at Wolves for a little while and no one really took notice. So yeah, Vitinha third, I'm sort of fine with. I think I like that when these players get recognised. I liked it when Modric won the Ballon d'Or a few years ago. I think it's like a nice recognition of that kind of profile of player. I liked it when, our player at the time, Jorginho, got third. I think Lampard finished second to Dino 20 years ago, whatever it was now. But so that's a second place finish. Our next best finish is third place, and that was Jorginho when he won the Euros and the Champions League in 2021. So Vitinha fine, and then second Yamal. So we'll talk about Yamal versus Dembele, but first on Yamal, he did amazing, Lamine Yamal, and he looks amazing on the ball. Some of the dribbles he can do, and everyone was like, he's only 17, and he's only 17, and he's only 17, and that was like the narrative, of course, versus like the 27, 28-year-old Dembele, who'd been underwhelming for years and not recognising his talent and staying up too late playing video games in his mid-20s and when you're going to grow up, mate, sort of thing. But Lamine Yamal, he's only 17. I think he scored like 9 league goals. The thing is, Lamine Yamal had an amazing season, and I'm totally fine with him finishing second in the Ballon d'Or, I'm totally fine with it. He's an amazing player. He's like rightly the new number 10. He's gonna win loads of Ballon d'Ors in his career. No doubt in my mind. But you've got to you can't look in the future and go, he's really good now, he's going to be good for ages. You need to look objectively about what's just happened. And the numbers of Ousmane is so much higher than Lamine Yamal. And Ousmane Dembele has won the quadruple. He's not just won the league, he's won the quad, he's won the he's won the treble, the other Super Cups, whatever, the league cups. He's won all the trophies and won best player in all the trophies. So he's won all the team awards and individual awards and more goals and assists. And if you're just not about a numbers guy, if you're more about the eye test and you think, but Lamine does these amazing wonder goals every now and again, I get that. But if you want to talk about stuff that's a little bit more, it's still kind of statistical in its own way, but a little bit more left field, look at the narrative of Ousmane Dembele moving into the false 9 role, because he's not just got the goals and assists and individual awards and club trophies, he was transformative in how PSG played. His pressing numbers insane. I think, the PSG coach said, Luis Enrique said he should win the Ballon d'Or on just his pressing alone, let alone all the goals and assists. Because he sets the tone from the front, he presses from the front, he leads by example, and he's been absolute... My cat's just come outside. Come on! And he leads by example, and he just transformed the team completely. Whereas, of course, Yamal made Barcelona so much better, but you could drop another really good right winger in there, and they probably would still win the league, or they still do really well. Whereas no other player could do... No other player could do what Ousmane has done for PSG. So, Ousmane Dembele deserves to win Ballon d'Or. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think, look, he won't have a season like this again, Ousmane Dembele. He just won't. He simply won't. He had like an absolutely insane season, insane numbers, insane importance to how he transformed the team. That won't happen again. He won't win the Ballon d'Or again. Lamine Yamal will win 5 Ballon d'Ors plus or something. He might even break Messi's record. So there we go. That's the Ballon d'Or. Done for another year. Let me know your thoughts. Leave them in the comments. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Peace.